You know, everyone needs have one of these Delta 4x6s or something like that. You know, I started my machine shop started well, it started with my wife taking some money that she inherited and bought my first lathe and mill, and I got rolling in the garage, and since then it's been payback all the time. Every bit of it was well worth it. You know, but I was you know, doing some work in the shop there, and my dad come rolling in the driveway one day, and he said, "Hey, I got something on the back of the truck." He says, "I stopped by the store." He says, "You need one of these." He says, "You can work it off." and so I had I think 1991. I bought this from Home Depot. Home Depot had just opened up in the neighborhood where I was living at in California, and so this is one of my first purchases from Home Depot. But it's also I've never had to do a single thing to this except for replace the bearings on the guides there, and it's about time I got to pull the gearbox and stuff like that apart. It is only a 4x6 saw, and I've gone through a million blades in here, but it's handy for little stuff like this. It's just to flip it up, and I'm going to cut this little brass piece right here. Okay, now I can go and I can sand that, get that squared off, and then we'll be able to start fitting our pieces. I'm not going to drill that hole until we're all fabricated on this, and we're going to be doing that hole as a matched arrangement there. This will be the one just on this side right here, and then this is going to be the one that's going to be on this side, just right flush there. And of course, this is the outside one. Alright, and then as that rolls around, whoop, it holds it right there. Okay, we're in our last phase of this operation here of actually creating the shape that we want. And we cut that off of there, and we kind of been able to hold these pieces all up here come into play. You can see that's going to be able to come up in between there, and the nut will be able to draw down and clamp on those. And see if I can hold these straight again. It's a lot easier when the round's in here. Okay, and then when this also folds back, it's going to come back like that, and it's going to lock and it'll hold that up in that position there without jamming down on this section here. You also have the start of the cutout that the slide will be in. Then we're going to come in here, we're going to radius this, and we will add in a round boss with the thread in here, and we'll start creating the threads. But the next step is to actually take this and prep out the layers so that we can clamp them in the vise, and we're going to go downhill MIG on all of our welds on this so that we can join them, seal them, and quickly do it is you know, it's a quick operation. This is 1/4 inch segments of what I was visualizing that this part would be. Alright, let's get to grinding. It's a job nobody likes. We got our wire feed all set up, and we already purged our gas and all that. We're running 035 wire. That's pretty much our standard go-to wire in here, and we just set it for the rough setting on 1/4 inch, which is about 20 and a half on the voltage, and we're about 44 on the wire speed. You can see our prep here. We're going to do these 2 plates here, and we have a couple welds that we need to do fully and be able to grind and dress them before they come up against places like an ear, like it's in there. You're not going to be able to dress that after it's added to the next one. So we need to add, do a couple of these areas here that we're going to have to dress and then weld to the next set. All right. All right, we just barely want to fill that cavity up, or the weld prep that we put in there. Now we're just going to give a couple tacks in a couple other areas here. Alright, we're going to hit this on, a couple little welds right here so that we can finish off that, because we can't grind in here and here at the same time, so we want to go ahead and add just a little bit in here. All right, she's really hot, and we got to let her cool down. But we got one clamp up there, just kind of holding that area right there. And you know, this is the swing bolt here, and we'll have to be doing some tweaking so that'll be lining up in there. But we'll be able to machine this, and we're gonna get in here. We're gonna take an end mill. We're gonna put a radius in there for a slug, and we'll drill and tap a slug, and then we're gonna weld that slug right in there. And then that'll be the pusher. And once this is milled out, we'll have 1/3/8 threaded there, and then we'll make a foot to match these two down here. And we're going to add some kind of a roller assembly on there. And then I think Tony's steady rest is going to be complete. It's been a while. He's waited a while. I think he sent this to me like 4 months ago. So I apologize for the length of time. But I'm glad you weren't you weren't in a major hurry, and I could give it some real nice thought and come up with something pretty cool. At least replacing what was there as best as I can. Alright, see how we fit this up now. Fits right on there. And the nut will be right on there. That looks cool. Alright, I think we just got to go in the other room now and go ahead and do the machining of the slot in that hole, and then mill out for a threaded recess, and that'll be just one quick weld right there. And we've got the basic steady rest done, and then we're going to see what we can do about incorporating some rollers. It's a little hard to see with all the juice in there, but we're actually coming in, we're milling the upper side of the pocket there. We're trying to do this big relief right in here. Alright, let me get a little air on that. Alright. Alright, here's the one. Well, it's not all cleaned up, but it's one of them. Alright, a little cleaning up on there. Look at that. Got a nice sliding foot there. Sits on about the same, well, it's all, the grooves dimensionally, width and depth, all the same as the other. It's just that normally this down here and this here was a cast opening, and we machined out that pocket so it'd have clearance. But the guide and the length is all exactly stock length compared to the other two, so that's all we got to go by. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to set it up in the Bridgeport there, and we're going to put in this radius right here, and then weld the stud in there that's going to drive that, and put that one hole drilled and tapped in it, going this direction here for the keeper bolt. We're almost done. Of course, all the way down, instead of just throwing it right on the freaking ground. Of course, I went all the way underneath the middle of the machine, not just near the edge. Nice. Okay, we're coming in here. We're just going to be cutting a little slug that's going to represent the threaded slug at the end of the slide here. Alright, so it's only, what, about 5/8 of an inch long. This is 7/8 diameter, and the thread that we're using is going to match these other two, which is 1/2 inch 13. So basically, we're just drilling our tap size right now. Then we'll run a tap in here, and then we'll part. Actually, we'll probably part it off. We'll leave it the tap size here, and we'll probably tap it after it's welded. You know, why tap it twice, I guess. Alright, and we're going to we'll run it in the south bend to do our chamfer front and back, so we'll just grab the parting tool now. When you don't really have a flat enough surface right here or something, I usually like to go ahead and go ahead and get your compound and everything else loose right here. And I like this side of my jaws here, and bring this right in, and then you can set that right square. Now you're ready to go. Alright. Oh, let me grab my scale. And those are 5/8 long. So we're going to go ahead and we'll give it just a skosh. It really don't look like we drilled that deep enough. Let's just double check our depth there. Kind of, we'll start right there. Alright, we went ahead and we broke those corners front and back there, and then this is going to set in against this piece right here. We got a 2 flute 7/8 end mill. It's about the only thing that I got that actually can fit in here, and we're actually not going to come in to it sideways here because we're only going to be taking a partial. So I'm going to engage my feed, and I'm going to hand crank it down so it doesn't get grabby, but straight down, so we're actually going to be cutting with the end of the flute almost like a boring bar. And I'm just going to make several passes until we get this to the depth we want, and then this will set right in there, and we'll be able to clamp that and then take a heliarc and we'll weld that in, or the wire feed, either way. And then after that's in there and it cools down, then we can go ahead and we can tap that out for our 1/2 inch. Alright, we're touching, we're feeding about 25 per pass. We got to come in about the total of half of that diameter right there, because center line looked to be equal with that face right there. So we're going to be coming in about 7/16 of an inch. sneaking up on it this way just kind of relieves the amount of tool pressure and any side grabbing that your end mill would want. At least this is how I feel and how I go about just whittling away what I need to whittle. Alright, we're on our last pass down here. Little air. I was babying just mild steel, that's why I didn't use any cutting oil, just in case you were wondering on that. And look at that, that fits in that fits in nice and snug. Alright, so it actually got to go down just a little bit farther. There we go. Alright, and then we'll go throw some heliarc around there. Then we're going to come back here and set this up in line. We can run our rod down through there, and then follow it with the tap, and then we'll go for our other hole that way after that. There is no need to put any weld down in there. I mean, that's more than enough. Okay, that's more than enough. All right, we zeroed our we zeroed our hole. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and run this tap in here, and we got to slow down some speed here. Okay, we got plenty of travel there too. A little tapping fluid here. Alright, okay, we put a parallel in here, and we held this in and we tightened down the vise after we kind of dressed up both sides, so this is pretty rigid. We got a center finder. We're going to come in here and we're going to find the center of this, which that is 1 inch wide, so we just basically got to come in and touch off the one side here. And we need to grab some RPM here. Okay, and we come over till it kicks. We set 0, we back off again, and then we just go ahead and we do that one more time just to verify our dial. And we got 1 that time, so we go ahead and we do it one more time. And we got 0. Okay. Alright, we cranked in our 250, now we go back to 0 and then create our center, which is 1/2 an inch. Alright, and we go ahead and we put in, now we can go ahead, we can leave our wiggler in here because we might as well go ahead and find out. We know we're going to be 5/8 of an inch in from the bottom here. So we just come on in and we go ahead. This isn't real critical, so we're just going to come in and do this once. There's the kick. 250. Zero it. Okay, and we're coming in 5/8 of an inch. 625. Alright, now right there is where we go ahead and tap it for 3/8 national course. Alright, we're going to go ahead and drill and tap. We're not center drilling this at all. There's just a set screw that will come in, or a threaded bolt to hold the dog with a washer. Being center is pretty important, but we didn't see any. You can tell when your drill bit runs out when you're looking at it, I should say. We're babying it because we don't know, you know, it appears that we are clamped down pretty good and I don't see the part. Sometimes you're out here and you push down on your part and all of a sudden your part tilts down. Sometimes you can come over here with a screw jack, set it underneath these two areas right here for this part. Alright, a little tiny chamfer down in there. Okay, 3/8 national course, tap. Well, I was squeezing this thing in the vise, and this also may be the dirty jaw. Let's see if I'm doing it out of the vise. Like I said, it was squeezing in the vise. Alright. Now we go get a push rod.